everybody, and welcome to the third installment of our TLN podcast. We are glad you are here with us today. And we are going to be talking about college admissions and sort of, how the process works, and then some tips and tools to use to maybe sort of make yourself a more desirable applicant, for colleges. So I wanted to go to our two seniors on the call or on the podcast today, who sort of know the process a lot more, and ask you guys, how does it really work?
Well, it really depends on if you're going for academics or if you're an athlete. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like athletes have this certain advantage when getting into college. I've got a few friends who have 35s, 34s on their ACT, and they're not getting accepted into a lot of schools, right? On the same end, some of them are getting accepted into a lot of schools, but there's been a few key differences, right? And a lot of those key differences are the extracurricular things that they've done. A lot of these schools have cared a whole lot less about ACT, especially, or at least this year because of COVID. My ACT's at 21, and I didn't go test optional, and I sent my ACT into Harvard, Princeton, and Yale, and I got accepted into all three with a 21, right? But it's probably wondering, how do you get accepted into a school like that with a 21? Well, you have to be somewhat impressive elsewhere. So, whether it's being active in certain clubs, FCA, Beta, FCCLA, whatever it is, but not just being active, but also going above and beyond. Like maybe holding a state office, that's what put me in a good position to succeed. Or even having a lot of volunteer hours. A lot of schools love volunteer hours. But yeah, I mean, it really just depends on the person.
Yeah, I'm definitely not good at sports. So, where I had to focus on is clubs. I absolutely love clubs. I wish I had been a little more brave and run for like state positions in certain clubs because that's really like gonna help you stand out. But yeah, I just am a lot involved in a lot of clubs, and it's like the only thing really going for me.
It's kind of like I talked about that little bit of an advantage athletes have. And one of the major advantages is when you contact these coaches, they're just as eager to hear back if you're accepted also. So at all these schools, I've been in contact with coaches for football, and they would always let me know the moment I was accepted. So I remember I wasn't the school that I'm going to now. I wasn't supposed to know that I was accepted until sometime last week. So I guess around February 1st is when I was supposed to know. It's February 7th today, by the way, but I was supposed to know on February 1st. So when I applied, it was, I want to say December, right? I want to say it was December 25th. No, I guess that's Christmas. So I applied on December 20th, and then the coach texted me and told me that I was accepted on December 25th on Christmas. So it was really cool getting to learn that I had that acceptance. And on top of that, knowing how much money and scholarships that I was getting, maybe only a week after that. Whereas I know a lot of kids would still be waiting and still wouldn't know until February. So I mean, that's a huge major advantage, but also along with the money they'll give you. These coaches are willing to do a whole lot more because think of it this way. These coaches are going to look and help find you more and more scholarship money if you're going to play ball at the D3 level, or if you're going to play at the D2 and D1 level where you're eligible for those athletic scholarships. Those coaches are going to help find you more and more money, as well as almost be a second counselor throughout the process.
Yeah, so if you aren't going for athletics, you might have to wait until like April 6th to get a decision back, which is obviously not fun to wait for. But if you know what colleges you want to apply to, if they have an early action um option, definitely apply early action. That way you don't have to wait as long. And I believe that early action also gives you a little bit of an advantage. But there are still a lot of schools that don't have early action, and those you'll just have to like wait.
And could you guys, maybe talk about sort of a little bit the processes that you guys went through applying to colleges? So maybe the applications, obviously you could sort of go into. I know there's a difference between early decision and early action, and sort of, how you guys weathered through the college application process.
So from the athletics side, I came into my senior year with zero offers from any school, and I have a 21 on my ACT. Right. I was also Arkansas State Beta president, but I didn't think colleges really cared that much about it. So I was really thinking like, damn, colleges aren't going to want me. I got a 21 on my ACT and my GPA is not impressive. It's just a 3.6, right? I know a lot of kids with 4.0s, 4.1s, 3.8s, 3.9s. I thought those kids are for sure going to get chosen over me, right? So looking at it as a perspective of, I really didn't feel like I had that much going for me. So I started applying to more and more of these schools, and they started responding to me. And I was like, what the heck? One of the things that I also started doing for athletics was I started sending my film to coaches, right, to get more and more money. They weren't contacting me, so I was like, you know what, let me Google their emails, and I'm gonna start sending my film to them, right? A lot of coaches didn't respond, but a lot of coaches did respond. So that really helped start the process for me, because those coaches would guide me in the best way for me to, I guess, these coaches would put in a really good word for me with the counselors a lot of times to help get me accepted to make up for my super low ACT score. But at the same time, with the power of holding a state office gave me was that there's only one person this year who can say the Arkansas State Beta president. That's me. No one else can. And it's the same for every other state position. But what the process really looked like for me was I went through this thing of denial. Oh, I'm not going to get to go to a cool college. You know, I'm going to go to a community college, probably. Nothing against a community college. That's just not where I wanted to go. And then I slowly started to realize things were changing. But you really only start to get an understanding of what the process looks like once you begin applying, right? So once you apply to one or two schools, you're gonna be like, oh, okay, and you're gonna start hearing a few more things back. And that's where you're really gonna start to learn. One of the things that also helped me was really become best friends with your counselor. That means calling up to and asking your counselor, hey, are there any other scholarships that I can apply for? Is there anything else that I can do to make this school more affordable, right? Before you even get your financial aid back. That really helped me a whole lot, because she ended up guiding me in the direction to a whole lot of more extracurricular scholarships that thankfully I was able to get, which really helped cut the cost of school down very, very low.
Yeah, so for me, I had to go like, the traditional route. I didn't do anything extra and fun like sending videos of myself doing well to like um coaches, but I just started doing the Common App at the beginning of the school year, fill that thing out. It doesn't take too long. Maybe like I'd say an hour max, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. So you fill out the Common App, which is basically just like information about yourself, your grades, what you've done, what classes you're taking, stuff like that. And that's gonna get sent to all of or most of your colleges. Some colleges don't accept the Common App. It's really just depends on the college. And so you fill out your Common App, and then you can start applying with it for most colleges. You can apply early decision for some colleges, which means that if you get accepted there, you have to go there. And so that's why you really can't apply early decision to more than one college. And the thing about early decision too is that you have to be careful, because if you get accepted early decision and they don't give you enough financial aid, or if it can like cost a lot of money, but you applied early decision, so you have to go there no matter how much, unless it's like way too much money, then you can like appeal. But, if you do early decision and it's a lot of money, you kinda have to stick with it. So that's why I didn't apply early decision. You can also apply early action. There's rolling admissions where like, they take applications as they come in and, like, give you your decision, like, within, like, 3 weeks or something. Those are fun. I like that one. And then there's regular decision where they'll give you your decision back in, like, spring, winter, stuff like that. So, make sure that you have a list of colleges that you're interested in and figure out when you need to apply. If you can apply early action, early decision, whatever, find out when you need to apply, if there's any supplementals for the colleges too. Because some colleges require you to like write an essay or like answer some questions. So you'll figure that out on the Common App. The Common App will tell you. So definitely look out for those. And then also, some colleges will allow you to write an essay for a specific scholarship. So, but like the deadlines might be earlier than the actual application deadline. So definitely look out for that.
Yeah, I mean, so a big mistake that I made when applying for colleges is I didn't necessarily know what the Common App was. So I was filling out this gigantic application for like 6 schools to start with, and I'd fill it out every single time. So that's probably 6, 7 hours of time wasted, right? And then I figured out what the Common App was. So for those of you who don't know what the Common Application is basically you type in all the information that you would usually have to type in independently for each school, and then paste your essay in there. And then you can submit that to as many schools as you want to send it to, right? So I was just going crazy. I applied for schools all over that I didn't even need to, right? I'm still getting acceptances back to other schools, and I've already committed to go play college ball somewhere. but it's crazy the power of the Common Application if you know how to use it correctly. But keep in mind, a lot of these schools are free to apply to, but a lot of them are going to charge you like $50. So you really got to figure out, but mainly majority of the liberal arts schools are free to apply to.
Yeah, try to figure out what colleges you want to apply to. I really struggled with this because I didn't have any help, or like I didn't have like any, yeah, like help or knowledge of the college world and what colleges were good, what colleges are like in my range. I didn't know what my range was. So I really struggled and applied literally everywhere because I didn't know what my range was. So I found this website called College Vine, and you type in your information. It's a lot of like the same information that you put into the Common App, but you type in your information, like your grades, what you've done for like extracurriculars, stuff like that, and it'll tell you like what range you're in for like colleges, and then it'll like give you a list of colleges, which ones are reaches, which ones are your targets, and which ones are your safeties. And if you don't know, safeties are the ones that you're like probably going to get into. Your targets are like in your range, like you think you'll get in there, but like maybe not. And then your reaches are the ones that you're probably not going to get into, but like maybe, you know. So that's how I figured out what colleges I wanted to go to. Using College Vine, that was super super helpful because my guidance counselor didn't help me with that at all. She looked at my college list and said, okay, these are okay. And then I left, and so that was not helpful.
At least
But
you had a guidance counselor there to help you, man. I'm doing school virtually, and they're just sending out emails. Don't forget to apply to college. And that's it. And I'm sitting here like, and they're sending me the links to all these community colleges and stuff. And I'm just kind of standing here like what's y'all's point this year? But no, the college process is pretty interesting. But the only way to learn how you're gonna, I guess, the only way to learn how to be effective with applying for colleges is to actually apply for schools. If you feel like you're not going to get accepted into the school, great, apply to it anyways. How can it hurt you, right? And don't forget to ask colleges for more money too, because what are they going to do? Oh, he asked for more money. We're going to make sure he can't go to the school anymore. No, they're not going to revoke your opportunity to go to the school, right? Because these colleges are in the game to make money. That's what they want to do. They want to make that cheddar, right? So one more student, that's making a whole lot more money. But make sure, especially after you go on a tour, at least all the tours I've been on, I met with my counselor at the very end or in the beginning or somewhere in between. Make sure to call your counselor back and tell them how much you enjoyed the tour, even if you didn't, because then they'll give you more money.
that is a very smart tip. Oh yeah. When it comes to tours right now, it kind of sucks because I only went on one tour and it wasn't even like I didn't even choose to. They just kind of made us go on this tour. But usually you start going on tours like junior year, definitely like right up until like honestly until you decide you can just keep going on college tours. And people say that they're really helpful. I haven't really gone on one, but they say that they're helpful because you can like figure out the vibe of the place and if you're gonna like it. So I am planning on going on college tours later. But yeah, definitely try to do those so you can like learn about either which ones you want to apply to or which ones you want to like commit to.
Yeah, I sort of want to. Obviously, we're down a couple of people today in our podcast, so it'll just be myself and Trent who've been keeping quiet this whole time. But I wanted to open it up to obviously, you guys can Logan and Nicole can keep talking, but to open it up to the rest of us and talk about what you guys have heard about the college process, what you think might be a good tip and trick, and I almost sort of wanted to piggyback off of something that Logan said, which was that I don't think I love that Logan was like, look, you should apply if you want to go somewhere, and even if you think, oh God, my grades, aren't there, my SAT, ACT, I'm not good at sports, blah, 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 whatever excuse you're making, you should absolutely still apply and you shouldn't take no for an answer up to a point, right? Like, obviously
Yes, yes.
don't keep pestering the college. That's obviously a bad
No, keep pestering them, because guess what? That shows that you want to go to this school. And what's the worst they're going to do? If they don't accept you, what are they going to do? They're just going to sit there and keep telling you no. If you really want to go to a school, keep on applying, keep on sending emails. You got to do what you got to do. I mean, I don't know. I'm the kind of person, don't take no for an answer. Now, if they threaten, it'll get old to a point, you know what I'm saying? When it comes to harassment, you should probably stop. But until that point, I feel like you're fine.
Right. Yeah. I mean, of course, be respectful. Like, we're not advocating just like type nasty emails to college and be like, you let me in or else. Like, but I know a story where a family member, they were actually, this is law school, but it was pretty similar, where they were they really wanted to go to a specific law school, and the law school had said no. They were basically like, you're not accepted. You've been rejected. I'm sorry. Go find another law school. And they basically they emailed them up a couple of times, and they said, okay, what is it I have to do to get into your college? Like, I very much want to go to this law school. What is it I have to do to get better? Like, I'll do anything. And they said, okay, take a summer class. I think it was contracts law, maybe. I don't know. I've story.
It was something.
Yeah, they said, take a summer class on contracts law. If you get above an 80 in it, which in law school, that's actually a much higher grade than an 80, because like you only go up to like a 90. It's a whole process. The point is, like, get above a specific grade in contracts law and you're in. And basically that family member that I know went to law school and got into law school because they went in, they took the contracts class over the summer. So just because you get rejected from a school does not mean you are not going to that school. There is always something else you can do. I can go on about, a family member that didn't get into a specific college, and they're like, what can I do? And they'll go to my satellite college for 2 years and then come in and go to the main campus, right? Like, there's always a plethora of things you can go do to actually try to get in. Rejection does not mean rejection outright. There's always something more you can do.
Exactly.
Sort of, I wanted to transition a little bit there. I know I piggybacked, but into some stuff that everybody here has done that you guys have thought has been attractive to colleges. Obviously Logan and Nicole, you guys have talked about some clubs, some extracurriculars, sports. Really, and of course I wanted to get Trenton in here as well. Just lay out anything you guys think might be helpful to go pursue, or a tip that you think, hey, this is really a good sort of thing you should go work on when you're building your resume.
Look, so colleges want someone who knows how to be. You have to know how to be yourself, if that makes sense, right? Colleges don't want a bunch of the same person. They don't. So do what you enjoy while you're in high school. Be who you want to be. Chase things that you're passionate about that will have positive outcomes in your life, right? And when you do those things, when you truly find out who you are and who you want to be, you won't have an issue being accepted into these colleges. Because colleges, these admissions readers, they can read through all the BS in your essays. And that's the truth. So if you have someone who can sit there and can actively read through people's BS, when they see an essay come across that's authentic, someone who at least it seems like they know themselves, they know who they are, that college is going to be 10 times more likely to have you. But also just having a level of commitment, right? One of the things I do is I compete in CrossFit. So of course I added that on there. I was like, I'm a brag. And I've done that for years. Same with football, same with Beta Club. And they love seeing that level of consistency. You know what I'm saying? Staying and doing one thing, right? Or, you know what I'm saying? Doing 5 things, 6 things, but for a long period of time. And that shows a high level of commitment that most people don't have, because a lot of times you're going to face hardship in whatever you do. And a lot of people will just throw in the towel and call it quits, right? And those colleges don't want someone who's going to throw in the towel or call it quits, or at least they don't want to give someone money who's going to call it quits, right? Because when a college gives you money, that's an investment in you. Right? If a college is giving you 30 grand to go to their school every year for 4 years, but you only go for 2, that's 60 grand that could have gone to someone else who's actually going to complete and go through the school, who's going to be an alumni of that school and probably make generous donations back. And that's how it goes, man. It's just make sure you're actively pursuing who you want to be, doing what you want to do, and becoming your own person.
Yeah. I for one don't know that much about myself, and I feel like a lot of people like if you have a passion, that's great, good for you. But a lot of us are, we're high schoolers, we're teenagers,
Yeah.
we're kind of new to like the world in a sense, and we're figuring ourselves out at this point. So it can be really difficult to know like what you're passionate about. Like I don't have a passion, but I do have like little things that I enjoy. I enjoy doing clubs and like having fun and like doing stuff like for clubs and just being involved in activities like that. I like playing soccer. I'm not good at it, but it's fun. But like doing these like extracurriculars that you can show that like you are committed to, that's really going to help you. And also another thing that I've heard is being well-rounded. So,
Yes.
like, you can't just have good grades, like, you just like, good for you, but you need to show that you can also, you can be social, that you can, like, be a leader if need be, or you can be all these other things, that you're not just, good at getting grades. Because like, okay, good for you, but doesn't really show much of your personality, you know? So, if you can find a passion, great, do that, that's amazing. But if not, try to, like, be well-rounded and, like, try to, like, become good at, like, maybe little things that kind of, like, build up so that you can, like, show that you can be, like, all of these little things. And so, yeah, that's what I would suggest. And also, prepare for your essay. For the, Common App because a lot of people who, like, maybe don't do or who aren't, like, passionate struggle with, like, the college essay. So this essay can be about a bunch of different things. It's for the Common App, and, I know that one of them is, like, a challenge that you overcame. There's also an option that's just, like, a random essay. There's a topic that's, like, something that you're passionate about. There's a bunch of, like, different topics within it. You can look it up. But, if you have a passion, that essay is gonna be a lot easier to write. If you don't, I suggest you look at the list and think about it like, start thinking about what you could write your essay about and maybe, do some activities that could help with your essay that you could write about.
Yeah. Also, there's one more thing. You have to watch your social media posts if you want to get accepted into a prestigious college. Right. So one of the things that I've spoke with a lot of coaches about is what you post on social media matters a lot. So if you're going to try and get a scholarship for these coaches, trying to do scholarship for football, tennis, whatever your sport may be, they're going to look at your Instagram account. Because remember, once you go to that school, you're representing that alma mater for 4 more years or however long it takes for you to go through the school. And so those coaches are going to see that and they're not going to want you to go to their school simply because of the way you represent yourself. So your social media posts and I guess the way you act in public plays a major role also in if you're accepted or not.
I wanted to pop over to Trent because I know he
Yeah.
pop in with, yeah.
I'm getting some good tips here, may I just say, because I'm a junior, so I'm not as far in. But what I will say, some things I do know, I will just echo everybody on when they say extracurricular activities, because I don't think colleges are looking as much into, oh, we want that 30 ACT score or 32 ACT score or
A lot of
whatever.
kids have 30s now.
Yeah,
30 isn't special anymore.
That's not even fun anymore. That's not special. But you know what is special? Like having that state leadership position for Beta or for whatever club you're in. That's gonna stand out more. So I would echo very much extracurricular, because a lot of people don't understand the importance of it. They'll go their whole time. They might be the smartest people in the world, right, and get some good grades, and but they don't do anything else. They do nothing else. They don't join any clubs. They don't do any sports. They don't do anything, and with that in mind, they are less competitive for entry into the colleges they want to go to. So I would stress the importance of not just focusing on your books and going out and do something else. I'd also say that I agree with doing whatever you can to get in. I know Logan's been pretty hammering in on that today. But really just doing things to make yourself more competitive, standing out, calling people, seeing if you can get this person to hey, call the admissions people and say this about you. It's again doing whatever you can.
Yeah,
Precisely.
I absolutely agree. And sort of to piggyback directly off that, I've got two tips that I think have been very helpful for me. I'm of course a junior as well with Trent, so I've been sort of soaking this all in as you guys have been saying stuff. But to echo that similar extracurricular thing is be of course authentically yourself. I think it gets very hard. Like that was always something as a little kid. I thought I was like, why don't people just like lie on their admissions thing? And it's sort of seeing now you go,
Mhm.
it's very hard to make up things that you didn't do. Like it's just
Exactly.
to put things on that you do.
And effectively do it and be great at doing it. That's
Right,
the
yeah,
really hard
like,
part.
of course and I've sort of, fallen into the trappings of like, I will never cheat on like my schoolwork. I'm very like, oh, I gotta uphold the truth every time. Probably because again, that was drilled into me as a little kid. But sort of with the extracurricular thing is something that's been helpful with me is go out and do things that you enjoy, which is very similar to what everybody
Yes.
does. Is I am somebody who has always known sort of what they've wanted to go do. And for me, like I've gone out and I've found that very specific thing that I want to go do. I've done a couple of internships with some political organizations because I know I want to go into politics. In my school, I've joined all the sort of politically oriented and legal oriented because I know I want to go to at least law school. Sort of those clubs. And if they didn't exist, I made them. A lot of that's something that colleges also really like.
Yes.
You
Yes, Jack.
you took the initiative to go do something, right? There wasn't a mock trial team at my school. So I went, okay, I'll make it. And then I made it. I wanted to be a part of like a voter advocacy group and I just really couldn't find one. So I made a website basically like detailing how to go vote. And like that was something to me that I was like, look, I enjoy doing it. It's something out of my day that I'm like, yeah, it's work, but still, it's aligned with my interests. And I think that's something that again really stands out to the colleges because you have that ability to be truthful, but then at the same time show this is the type of person I am. That when there isn't that sort of opportunity to go out and help somebody, you go do it yourself. And another thing that's just really quick that I wanted to put out is I would say earlier in your high school career, this was something that I did that I thought was very helpful to me, is have a goal, have a college in mind, right? And that college can change, but basically turn around and say, okay, I want to go to X college. And then figure out what their credentials are. I know there's a great website called Prep Scholar where you can basically look up all the colleges and their average whatever, right? Average SAT, average ACT, average grade point average acceptance rate, average whatever. And of course, those extracurriculars are super important. Those grades are super important. Everything is important. But again, focus on who you are. If you're not a grades person, go be extracurriculars. If you're not a test taker, go do grades. If you're not either of those, go do sports. Like go do whatever you're very good at. But if you have that goal in mind, you can actually work towards something in college or in high school, excuse me, right? Like I know the schools I want to go to, they need or have averages of very high grade point averages. So I have made a pact with myself that look, I have to do well in school. They also have very high ACTs, unfortunately for me. So I've now I literally just yesterday took my ACT. So that's something that for me, if you have that goal in mind, you can work towards it and you can base sort of your successes and where you are in school off of where you want to be to get into a particular school, which allows you to sort of have that motivation to keep going.
Precisely. I mean, look at it from this way. The work you put in high school towards whatever you're putting that effort into it is going to go somewhere. It's going to affect you in some way, shape, form, or fashion, right? So if you're putting your energy into going to all these parties, do it, what I'm saying? If you put your focuses in the wrong place, I'm saying there's nothing wrong with parties, but if you spend your whole life there, right, not turning in assignments, doing all the wrong things in high school, that's going to pay off in a certain way, right? And it's a buy now, pay later plan. So it's if your focus is wrong going throughout high school, if you're not worried about going to college, and if college is something that you want to do, right, it's going to be a whole lot more difficult when it comes time to apply for colleges. And it's the same way vice versa. Look, whatever you do is going to pay off in a certain way, shape, form, or fashion. So let's say the school that I'm going to has an average ACT score of a 34. I scored a 21, right? 21 is my highest, and that's my super score. I've taken it 8 times. Taking prep courses just didn't go well for me. But it's looking at it as, okay, well, I'm not, let's say, doing very good in this area, right? But there's other areas that I was even more successful in that allowed for me to get into this school, right? So it's put a lot of emphasis on the things that you're really good at, but also put a lot of emphasis into the things that you're bad at, right? But, just keep in mind that if you're really good at one thing, that may be enough to get you into the school. And let's say you're not really good at a lot of things, right? That means isolate one thing, find something that you enjoy doing or something that you hate doing the least, and get the best at that. Because ultimately, all you need is to stand out in one way to get accepted into a college, right? So as long as you stand out, you shouldn't have an issue getting accepted.
Yeah, just focus on either what you're good at or what you enjoy. And honestly, like, that's enough. I don't know. I feel like I'm not the kind, I didn't know anything about colleges when I went into high school. I just said, I'm going to do my best so that when the time comes, I can do whatever I want to. So I just like set myself up to have like the most options because like I am indecisive and I knew that. So that's what I did. And that's what kept me motivated, I guess. But I feel like it's also very important not to just focus on getting good grades and being this like perfect version of yourself, you know? You
Exactly.
also have to like enjoy your high school experience. It's okay if you don't get into your dream school. I mean, honestly, it's what you make from it. Or yeah, you don't have to get into like the perfect school in order to have a good life. Like honestly, you're fine. Just enjoy high school, do what you like, do what you're good at, and that'll be enough. Like don't stress about it. You'll be fine.
Yeah,
Exactly.
like Jack said, I want to also want to do politics when I grow up. So what I've done is I've gone and done things that can allow me to try to pursue that. I do a lot of work with HSDA. I've interned on campaigns. I'm on a county board here in my county. So I do a lot of stuff that will make me kind of like stand out and I can be interested in, but also can help me on that like admissions process to kind of like, be competitive. So I would agree with everybody and echo what everybody said. Go out and do something that you enjoy and that you want to do, but that can also help you be competitive.
Precisely. It's all about that sense of balance, right? So it's what is it? I don't know. I was thinking of a good quote, but I forgot. It was going to be really cool though. Like it was going to be one of those really good quotes that would wrap everything up. Oh, I got it. Where focus goes, energy flows, right? So what you focus on in high school, that's where your energy is going to go. And when your energy goes into those certain areas of your life, that's going to lead to your outcome. Whether, I guess, your long-term outcome, whether it's being college, going to welding school, or joining straight into the workforce. Where that focus goes is where your energy is going to go. So if you focus on the right things, you're going to be successful, right? If you focus on the wrong things, maybe not so much, but that's up for you to decide.
I'm not going to rephrase that because that was perfect. So I think we're going to end right there. Thank you guys all so much for hopping on. Next week, we will be doing a theme that I have not looked at yet. We are going to be talking about social media, which I think we hinted at a little bit today, and sort of talked a little bit today about today. So make sure to hop on for that in 2 weeks. Otherwise, it was great having you guys, and I will see you next time.